I have this burning question. When, why did you get involved with your community?
I feel like Syracuse is still like a big city feel, but small enough community where you really can have an impact. And I think that's where a lot of us probably who are involved with not-for-profits or other organizations, it's really satisfying.
Van will let ladies go first. Linda, how about you?
Van's job brought me here.
Okay.
Long story short.
Is that the only reason you got involved with community?
Well, you know, I didn't know how to meet people.
Okay.
But that was my way to meet folks. And serving on this board, I was on Onondaga Park Association for a while. Van and I both jointly with about 5 other people maybe started the local NAACP, and his business brought him to meet a lot of people. So I got exposed to an awful lot, and I kind of liked being involved.
How about you, Van? When did you get to the Syracuse area and why?
Well, basically after working with a candidate in Rochester and then coming back home after the election, I began to look around here, and the NAACP had basically disappeared. So there were 3 groups of us who were determined we were going to resurrect the NAACP. So eventually the president of the state NAACP said there's only going to be one chapter in Syracuse.
Really?
So that meant that we had to, somewhat compromise. So the rest is history.
I know you've done more than just the NAACP, but what does it mean to be involved? What does it mean to you?
Well, it's a sense of giving of yourself. Coming up as a young kid, I saw so many discrepancies and segregation and back of the bus and that I think kind of put me in a position where I said, no, this cannot be. We have to make some change.
So I always felt that I can't complain about what's wrong if I don't try to make it right. And so, I had people that I looked up to. I had mentors, and people said, yeah, I'm complacent. Yeah, I vote. Well, maybe I don't vote. And I went, how else can I make a difference? I have to add my big mouth to this.
What can you say to somebody about how to get started and why they should get started to be
You
involved?
don't say that to them. You just give them little tidbits. You know how they leave crumbs?
Oh, the sneak attack.
Exactly. You ask them, what would you do if you were in my position on this issue? And they answered, and then you come back. You gave me an answer and some good advice a few months back. Could you help me on this for just a moment? And they help you on that for a moment. And then you wait a little bit of a time, and then you say, I could use some help, and then before you know it, you're reeling them in. That's my...
And also, what do you like to do? Not just as your vocation, but your avocation. What are some of your hobbies and things and how they can be applied?
There was one project that I'm still proud of. I happened to drive by the other day, and it was called Housing Partnership. And that was with the city government and with local business people. And they went into the community, and they would take a piece of property which is owned by the city, which the city had taken over for non-payment of taxes. And the business people would contribute along with the city to rebuild those houses.
How did you get those folks in? Did they use the Linda technique? Merike, you've got a formula?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about all the different ways people are engaged with the community, and so it's following your passion. We kind of started the conversation about the benefits of when we got involved with different nonprofit groups or organizations or activities. We sort of expanded our network and our connections, and for me, a lot of the friends I made when I first moved here are still my friends today because you come around those shared and common interests. If you're passionate about it, that's going to motivate you to be your best and to do your best job to support.
Do you all think volunteerism is alive and well? And is it just with certain age groups?
And I don't know, maybe it's just because this is the place where I've been able to become so much more involved in the community. I feel like Syracuse is our home. But I feel like people here, they really care. And it just seems like there's so much community motivation.
We're fortunate here.
We are. And Focus Greater Syracuse with Chucky Holstein was one of the first people I met.
The Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, like,
Oh, yes.
but really hitting home the idea of being engaged within your community, having a
Right.
voice, articulating the vision that you want to see. And so I think, again, there feels like there's so many opportunities here
Absolutely.
with a lot of just really good work happening no matter what your interest is. And I can't decide
And you
if it's-
don't, and you
yeah.
can't put a dollar figure on it.
No, you
No.
can't.
You-
You can't.
right. What is a volunteer worth?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't put a dollar value on it. It's something that comes from within. Now, when you talk about the downtown committee and some of the other organizations, you say I may not have the skills, but everyone has skills.
Mm-hmm.
And for an example, take the group Focus,
Yep.
Yeah.
which is a quiet group. You never hear of them. However, they are instrumental in changing the face of Syracuse,
Yep.
and have been.
Gentle giants.
Gentle
Yes.
giants, and they have proposed housing and proposal of housing
Yep.
downtown. Back then, it was like, well, you've got to be out of your mind. I want myself a house out in the burbs with a white picket fence. Who's going to stay downtown anyway? But downtown has changed, and only because of the efforts of these groups like Focus.
What is the vision you have for the future?
I hope it's a place where people continue to be engaged, where people continue to speak up and want to improve the area around them. I think that the communication is so important to keep open, because I think when people stop communicating about what they want to see and lending their time, I think that's when you would be concerned.
I look at the people who are responsible for keeping people in this city, our higher education, our Lemoyne colleges, our OCCs, our Syracuse universities, I think, and all the other area colleges, because they are the ones that they're educated here, and I think they're the ones who can make the biggest impact on why young people stay here. And now that we have a vibrant downtown, living community, I think that's going to help people. So as long as we keep being the megaphone, and I think this is going to keep people here. When Van and I came here, there were no communities of color with black restaurants. There were no black clubs. And I think more and more young people staying here will have the impact, the greater impact on our community. And so that's my hope. I mean, I got more years in the rearview mirror than I have in the front view. So, and I'm seeing the best feeling I could ever see is people educating themselves here and then staying here. So we have to keep on doing what we're doing. If it's working, then we just have to do a better job at making it work and continuing to make it work. So that's what I have.
That's what you all have. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.